Hey guys, what's up? So I'm going to share with you a recent hunt that I had here in Tennessee, and I normally don't do a little spiel about the hunt beforehand like this, but the reason I'm going to do this is because when I was going over the footage here tonight, I noticed that a lot of the footage is out of focus. So I want you guys to learn from some of my mistakes, and every year at the beginning of the year, it always happens. I make a mistake here and there. Now, some of these things you can't really always help from happening. The issue is going to be focusing. So what I mean by that, I try to use manual focus as much as I can, but in a lot of situations when you're self-filming, you got to rely sometimes on autofocus. The buck you're going to see that comes in, he comes in from behind. And when it's like that, you know, you just can't. You've got one hand on the camera, one hand on the bow, and you can't do all the finagling with the focusing while you're at it. So, but you'll see there's one limb that's right in the way. So the buck is kind of out of focus, but it is what it is. But that's one thing. Also, I noticed when I'm doing the post, whatever you call it, post-kill stuff, when you see that as well, you're going to see some focus tracking issues where it's in focus, out of focus, and all that good stuff. So I want you to learn from my mistakes. And so I'll say when you get a chance to use manual focus, the cameras we use now, they're all pretty awesome, but they're limited. And when you're in contrasty situations where you've got a lot of brush or trees or limbs behind you, it's going to bounce back and forth quite a bit. So, if you can, go ahead and use manual focus, which I normally do. Again, every year, usually I make the same mistake. I just forget about using manual focus, but you'll see that. So just learn here from my mistakes. And but this is nothing crazy, this video, but it's just a recent hunt I had. I hope you guys enjoy it and you get something out of it. If you have any questions or anything about the gear I use and all that good stuff, feel free to let me know. And be sure to check out BOWADX.com when you get a chance to check out some of our swag. And I appreciate you guys, and I hope you enjoy the hunt. So I'm headed to a spot this morning that I've had for about 5 years, and the way it lays in the back side or the south side, it's crazy thick, and I'm hunting between two ridges, and I'm actually in a saddle. So if you guys don't know what that is, some of you guys may not. I've got two really tall hills, and rather than it making a valley in between the two, it's more like a saddle. It's exactly what it sounds like. So it's not too deep, but the deer love to travel through there. But they'll come from that south side in that thicket and come across into the oaks. The oaks right now, the pin oaks, are just dropping like crazy. So I'm hoping they'll hit the oaks. I'm hoping that we'll catch a little bit of pre-rut action. So that's the game plan today. I've got a really good wind. Hopefully the odds will be in our favor today if anything happens. But we're about to head out here. I'm not one to do a lot of talking, especially in the morning time, and when I'm hunting close to bedding. So that's why I'm doing it right here in the truck. So I'm going to head out, guys, and we'll be in the tree here in a bit.
guys, I hope that wasn't the 9 I saw here a while back. This camera makes everything look lighter than what it is. But it's pretty early. It's about 7 o'clock right now. 6:50 and overcast. And he came in from behind. I think it's a 9 point. He looked pretty solid for Tennessee. But I'm hoping, I had another 9 I was passing. I'm hoping that wasn't him. He looked better than that 9 point. But it wasn't my favorite shot. But I had to use, I've got my iPhone mounted on my, if I can get my camera here. I've got my iPhone mounted to the front of my bow here. So the footage would be with my iPhone, so I don't know what that's going to look like. But he came in from behind, and that's all I had. He was making a scrape, rubbing some trees. I've hunted this property here for about 6 years. I've not taken a deer, excluding one management spike that had these massive bases. But so I was headed to Kentucky this afternoon. I think I made a pretty good shot. It was he was quarter to me, but I was angled down. I felt pretty confident. He was only, I don't know, 22 yards or so, if I'm guessing. But yeah, we had this cool front coming in. But there again, I've hunted this property for a long time. He looked pretty solid overall. You know, he there again, when you've had a property for so long that you managed, and a lot of these deer I pass up, I may not see them for 4 or 5 years. But I think he was an 8 point that I passed up last year. He looked mature in the body, but I think he was an 8 point that I passed up a few times. That was a 3.5 last year, so I think he's probably 4.5. I prefer a 5.5-year-old deer, but I've had a tough year so far, guys. Nothing's been moving, and that's the best buck I've seen on this property so far. So I'm pretty happy with that, but I'm gonna give him time. And I did not expect that this morning. I'll just be honest with you guys. I did not expect that, so I'm hoping he's pretty solid. All right. Whew. I love it. Absolutely. I keep saying I love it every time, but I do. Whew. Tennessee, baby. Right here close to home. Yes. All right. I'm going to calm down. The prime did its job, and the HHA did its job. Everything. I stand behind these products, guys. I love HHA and what they stand for. I love my prime bows. And of course, BOWADX here. You know I love me some BOWADX. All right. I better quieten up. Okay. All right. Hopefully we'll find him. I hope so. I felt pretty good about it. All right. Well, guys, here he is. He came in pretty early this morning. He came in just right maybe a touch before 7 o'clock. And, you know, I tell you what, I didn't have much light. What you guys saw in the camera was a lot brighter than what I saw. And he came in making a scrape, and, you know, I threw a couple of grunts out, and he came right on in on a dime. Man, he was raking trees. You guys may have heard that. The footage, I'm not sure exactly what it's going to look like. I had my iPhone kind of attached to the front of my bow, and I realized it wasn't exactly right because it was kind of leaning down, my mount. But I've got some of that footage, and I've got the footage from behind because I had to try to bring the camera arm around behind me so you could see it. But he's a solid deer. I think he's an 8 that I saw last year. Let's put on a few more inches. I'm happy with him. I tell you what, if I had more light, I probably would have given this deer one more year because he's got such good genetics. I definitely would have liked to see him have one more year. But, you know, again, he's solid. But, you know, when you got a good genetics like this right here, if you can let him grow, let him grow. But based on my light and what I saw, you know, he's got some good, decent mass overall too, and good time length. And, you know, I tell you, I'm still happy with him. So, he's on a property that I've hunted for a long time. I've not taken anything. I've just pretty much passed everything. So I'm happy with him. Just a real pretty solid symmetrical buck. And he's going to make for some good eating. So I'm going to get him cleaned up. And then I'm going to be headed off to Kentucky to try to hunt Kentucky this afternoon. So, all right, guys, y'all have a great one, and I hope you enjoyed the hunt. We'll see you. Tennessee buck number 1 is down. Yeah.